Good evening. Day 24, and we're at level 2, and Auckland is still in level 4. And you know how I told you that wool multiplies? Well, I just crocheted that great big hug and been crocheting the little bags, and then I went to see my mum and I showed her what I was doing with the little bags. And look at this. I have a bag full of scraps, and I have a rose quartz, beautiful little rose quartz, and I'm going to make that rose quartz a little bag and a little carry sack. So in Mum's bag of scraps there is tapestry wool, beehive tapestry wool. It is the cutest stuff. So my intention is to make a little pocket out of these scraps. So the first thing I'm going to do is tie them all together, leaving enough to weave in, and because I'm not going to use a big crochet hook, it doesn't have to be super long, so now when you're presented with a series of ends all in one end, pull them apart and tie them together at the end, and you will at least have one length contained. So if I tie those two together like this, so the only time I've done this in the past is when someone has made tassels out of a lovely ball of wool and never used it. So now I've got that whole length tied together and I haven't had to do too much work. So I'm going to tie this together again. So, and I'm going to look at that end, and there is actually 3, so I'll tie them together there. All reef knots. I'm just going to pull them apart. Now, if something like this gets stuck, that's generally because the wool has wound back on itself. Yeah. Anyway, so I've got enough to get started. 1, 2. So I'm going to use my number 15 and do me a quick little wind. To make me a quick little ball. pull the wool out of the middle easily. Right. So I'm mostly making this up as I go along, and we'll see what our little rose quartz bag looks like. Right. So a cute little wind. Now we will use number 4, I think, because we don't want the little quartz falling through the holes. So we're going to start with our 6th chain with a number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and join that circle, up 3, 1, 2, 3. There's our first knot. We're just going to set that aside for the moment and carry on. We could possibly weave as we go if you are keen. 1, 2. But this little bag does have a right side and a wrong side. Okay, so I've just done one chain. I've done 3 trebles with one chain in between, so it doesn't get too folded up to start with. And so I'm not doing 3 chains like I would if I was going to make something completely flat. 1, 2, 3. I'm just one chain, and so it's more of a round circle than that I'm going for, a curved one inside. Right, and again, one more, and here we go. Oh, can't see a thing. Last one, and on my last one, instead of doing that single chain, I've discovered it makes a gap that's too whole, so I'm too much of a hole, so I'm just going to do a slip stitch into that and go up my next row. Right, so it looks like this. So now our rose quartz, it's the base for where it will sit. So measuring that, I can see that I need to do at least one more out in the side. So I'll do, oh, these ends, this is going to be fun. And this time on my way round, I am going to go into every second one, and I'm going to do 3 trebles into every second hole. And no chains, so they're just going to stand 3 little soldiers side by side. 1, 2, 3. So it'll start to get a bit of a curve on. Now the side you can see is the wrong side, and so I'm literally crocheting this inside out. It's just the way it happens. And so you would be looking at the side that you want to show everybody else. And so I'm going into the top one, a slip stitch into the next layer, and I'm going to check my dimensions, and it's starting to sit in there quite nicely, so I'm going to go up another level, 2, 3, and do the same again. No chain, and 2, 3, 2, 3, 1 hole into the next hole. Let's see what happens. Now, this is 1, 2. This is a whole lot easier if you're not using super million scraps. And I probably should have shown you on something that was a single ball of wool. But I really like this pink, and I think it's a lovely rose quartzy kind of colour. So I'm carrying on. Okay, so I'll show you what's happening now. If I turn this in to the side where it's going to be my work, the rose quartz is going to sit in there really nicely, and it's going to have a safe little home. So there we go, nice little cap. Tomorrow I'll show you my finished one, and well, tomorrow we might carry on, but I'm going to be at the market and I'm going to take you around there tomorrow. So have a good evening, and have a good night's sleep. Happy crocheting. And I did do more hugs today. Bye.